us. So please, Austin, let's welcome from our partner BuzzFeed, the host of Profile by BuzzFeed News, Ashley Ford.
Hello. Are you all so excited?
Yes!
I'm so excited. We're about to have a lot of fun. I'm your host, Ashley Ford. Thank you so much for joining us here. Profile, it's a live episode at South by Southwest right here in Austin. We've got an amazing show coming up. You're so not ready. But first, go ahead and hit the follow button on the Profile page. That would be amazing for me and for you too. Trust me, it's going to be amazing for you. Now, let's get to the reason you're all here. I get it. Please welcome director and the cast of the new movie Us, Jordan Peele, Lupita Nyong'o, and Winston Duke. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
Over again. The premiere was last night. It's amazing. No spoilers. Don't y'all give me no spoilers, okay? Now, what was it like watching with the audience? Let's start with you, Jordan.
Watching, you work on a project like this for months and over a year, and you know try and get it perfect. And I love it. It's it's my baby, and I delivered the film, and it never ceases to amaze that really the final piece of creating something like this is experiencing it with an audience. And it was just a blast. Another one of just the best nights of my life.
How about you, Lupita?
It was incredible to watch it with an audience. I'd seen it once before, and it's not an easy thing to watch myself in a film, leave alone watch myself twice. So the first time I saw it, it kind of went over my head, and this film has so much in it, So the audience helped me to just get out of my own head and experience the film as a member of the audience. And they were so generous and in it and loving it. And I saw things through their reactions that I hadn't seen before. And I think one of Jordan's strengths as a filmmaker is that he layers his films with so many just different themes and devices and goodies and stuff like that. So it was great to see it again and see things that even I was not aware of when we were shooting. Yeah, it was really cool.
Winston, were you surprised by any of the reactions? Like, were there any moments where you were like, oh, I didn't see that coming?
Yeah, I was definitely surprised by a couple moments where. So my thighs are a thing apparently. And
They are.
and whenever they come out, things happen. And I think I still never expect how that's gonna play. So, like, literally hearing people go, ooh, there you go. I'm like, oh, okay, all right. Look at my face. Just look at my face. But definitely going back to the audience question, I never feel like the experience is complete until the audience gets there, because to me they're the final character of any performance. So whether it's stage, whether it's film, I never feel like it's complete. Like, they tell me how things are playing. They let me know how much they're picking up. So some of the nuances that I saw the movie once before and I didn't notice many things, and I didn't know how they would play until last night, and it was electric. Everyone was there. And Jordan, again, has a really wonderful talent for just knowing how nuance is going to manifest through the lens of the audience and how to time them out and beat them out perfectly. So, it was beautiful last night, and South by Southwest couldn't be a better audience for a movie like this.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Jordan, talk to me about some of those nuances, especially when we're talking about a nuclear family of doppelgangers.
Yeah. Talk to you about the
Yes.
some of the nuances.
Some of the nuances there, because my word. I mean, watching it, because I got to see it as well, I was sitting there just, peeling the layers in my head and being fascinated.
Pun intended or no pun intended?
No pun intended, but I'll take it.
I see what you did. With our nuclear family of doppelgangers, I love that. I love how you phrase that. Our tethered family. A lot of what we did was look at making them deeper than a sort of surface level monster. They're not just there for the scare. These are individual characters that have depth, and so it's obviously incredible working with all the actors. These guys are they're like part of what I believe is called the Yale Black Mafia. Is that what you guys are called? Like this incredible squad of Black Yale trained actors that's just killing it right now. And so working with these guys and their training and how their methodology really just taught me a lot about what it means to dig deep and deeper and deeper. So that was wonderful. We talked about them on all different levels, and I was very challenged by them in a very good way. One of the ways we talked about these characters was in terms of the physicality. And for me, the starting point in physicality, I'm terrified of roaches and water bugs, right? So I'm like, because those little motherfuckers are just like, I don't know, sorry if I can't say that, I'm sorry. But they're just like still, right? On the street, on the wall, they're just still. And you're just like, oh, what? Okay, I'm just gonna take a step back, and then they just go, and he's like, oh, no! And there's something sentient about them. They know more than me. So that was the sort of starting point for, that classic scene where they all scatter was based on a real experience I've had.
The roaches. The roach experience, right there. It was terrifying. It was absolutely terrifying. There's something already terrifying about skittering and scattering.
Skittering and scattering.
Skittering and scattering is already
Don't be skittering and scattering. Yeah, but really remarkable is watching these guys play against their own themselves.
Yes.
Because we couldn't shoot it that way, obviously.
Right.
So they're piecing together not only these two performances, but these reactions to a performance they're not even looking at. I don't want to peel back the layers too much, because I think the illusion that the movie creates is a part of what I'm proud of, but it's just no small feat what these guys did, and good news is you'll never have to work like that again without a scene partner, and at the same time having to be that other scene partner. That was dope.
Talk to me about that a little bit, Lupita and Winston. I'd love to hear from both of you about playing, the happy family and then playing the red family and acting against yourself in that way. I honestly can't imagine.
Yeah, it was, these two characters, the characters we play are distinct, and, they're separate, but they're also linked. So it was a challenge to sort it out in my head. I've never really done that. And as an actor, you invest in one perspective and you're an advocate for that perspective. And here, you had to do that, and the next day you're on the complete opposite perspective. So I needed to have the laws of each character in my head so that I could, and shortcuts of dialing into one and then the other, because often it was interchangeable. I'd be playing one character one day and then the next the other. When I started, Jordan said to me, "You're gonna be really tired," and he delivered on that. I was exhausted, and I think the thing about working as someone to complete exhaustion is that you kind of get out of your own way. And I am my own worst enemy when I'm working. I'm so hard on myself and I doubt myself a lot. That's always where I start. And so a part of this was I had so much work to do in such little time that I had to make choices and run with them. And then I was so tired. Some of the times, actually, when I was playing Red on set, between takes, I would sleep. I would just sleep, just check out. because it was heavy to just hold that thing, and I realized that the thing my body needed most in order to keep the creative juices flowing was rest.
How about you, Winston?
I tended to stay in the character a lot. So even between takes, at lunch, I'd still be Gabe. And Lupita could probably attest to this. I always bothered her. So she was sleeping. I wasn't. I was knocking on her doors like, you want to do lunch? You look great today. Like, I was always Gabe, I think, at all times. And then it also really helped that we could also be Abraham and Red together.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful experience. Like, we would just sit sometimes in a room in silence, staring at each other, just creeping everybody out.
It was one of those experiences where working with an actor, even when you know it's not, the camera's not rolling, you just feel like, ooh, y'all are, say something fun. You give me this, but you know.
Everyone would whisper on the days that we were saying Red. The set was really quiet and everyone was tiptoeing and it was changing. And then when they'd say it's a wrap, everyone would just make a sigh of relief. It was like, oh God, go away.
Yeah. What's the Red version of Jordan, Lupita, and Winston?
Wow.
That's a really hard question to answer, because I think a lot, especially for me, Abraham is defined by experiences and an experience of lack of agency. Something that, in a way that I'm not used to, and I can't even fully imagine what that would do to me. Because being able to think freely is really important to me. Being able to speak and express myself means everything to me. Being able to be seen and appreciated and recognized means everything to me. So to imagine a life without those things is really hard to really comprehend what that would do to the version of Winston that you know. So that's a hard question. I really don't know how to put that out there.
You know, in the early days of sort of developing this concept and the way I would talk to the actors about it, especially early on, you know, I thought of the tethered, the Red characters as, you know, at least figuratively, if not literally, a sort of manifestation of our internal darkness, our guilt, the things that we suppress. You know, we all have that shadow self in us somewhere, and this movie is about exploring it not only as individuals but as a group. What the shadow self of our family, our faction, our town, our country is. So you know, I think the tethered version of myself is probably the one that is making these fucking movies. I think what I'm trying to say.
I like that. I actually like that a lot. And I know that, you know, a lot of people were introduced to you via comedy, but now horror is sort of like Jordan Peele's genre. Like, it is your genre. Everybody's thinking about what is Jordan Peele going to do next and how is he going to expand the genre. But what do you want to see more from horror in general? Not just from yourself, but from every which way.
You know, I'm a fan of horror, so I love most offerings in that space. You know, I'm not a hater.
Right.
You know, a film can be, you know, a film can have any budget, any idea, just as long as someone is basing a horror movie on a truth. A personal truth, and you know, obviously I love the artists that are sort of pushing the boundaries and giving us their own unique voice. Ari Aster, who did Hereditary, I think is incredible. Andy Muschietti, who does the It movies, is just a master. So we're in a dope time for horror.
I think so too. And Lupita, what made you want to be a part of this project specifically?
Jordan Peele.
Yeah, understandable. Understandable.
Yes, I watched. So, Get Out came out when I was making Black Panther. And Black Panther was intense and time-consuming and all-encompassing. But I found time to go to the cinema 5 times in 1 month while I was working on that film to watch Get Out. I was just like an aficionado. I loved it. I loved I loved the conversations I had afterwards with my brother who was in Florida, my best friend in New York. I mean, we would pick up the phone and just have full-blown conversations about, did you notice the cup when she was stirring, and this, that, that, and then did you notice the callback when, oh my God, and it was just so much fun. He created a cinematic experience that we could grab and take with us, you know? And it became such a joy to just live in his mind. And so I was like, I need to work with that guy right there. And then a few months later, I received this offer. And I was like, of course I'm doing it. I'm doing it, whatever it is. Now let me read the script, you know? And I read the script and I'm not a horror fan myself. I stopped watching horror when I was like 8 when I realized I didn't have to prove anything. And so I read the script kind of like with one eye, being like, oh God, oh God, oh God, and my shoulders are going up. And I finished and I was like, this is amazing. Also, what is it about? Like, you know, what else is it about? Because I could tell that it was more than met the eye. And then I talked to him as a formality, you know, writing notes and really listening to what he was trying to get across. And he was like, and if you do this film, and if you do this film, and I was just like laughing because I was like, of course I'm doing this film. So
you played it very cool.
I did.
You're very high status. You're like, I hear you. So that's, yeah.
Yeah, and then at the end of the conversation, I was like, Jordan, who are we kidding? I'm doing this film.
I love that though. I love that you played it. You knew what you were going to do, and that's also just, I sometimes think a woman thing. We know.
Yes, but I also...
we just can't let you know until we're ready to let you know.
But also, I wanted to make sure that I was right for him because, you know, he's so smart, and I could tell that this was more than just like the surface. And I wanted to really make sure that I had an instinct for the thing that he wanted to say. So in the conversation, I was auditioning myself for him to see whether the things he said would resonate and like spark my creative juices, you know, and whether I had something to offer. Because I knew, you know, if I'm gonna work with Jordan Peele, I have to have something to offer.
You got something to offer, Lupita. Yeah. I think we can all agree. You got a lot to offer, and after people see this movie, I think they're going to see even more of what you have to offer. Because my word, I mean, I knew you were an amazing actress, obviously, but after seeing this film, whole new level. Whole new level. You know, and speaking, you know, of some of those underlying things, the music. As soon as the trailer came out, everybody was like, I got 5 on it, like that was it. But once they watch the movie, I think that there will be quite a few songs that they walk away being like, I'll never think of that song the same way again.
Yeah.
How do you decide on things like that, on like how to add to that, not just element of suspense, because another thing that this movie does really well is humor.
Well, you know, you talk about the music, I mean, the composer is a man named Michael Abels who did Get Out. And he is just an incredible artist to work with, collaborator. He really, you know, creates this brand new horror landscape with his sound. Now, on top of that, you know, I love the technique of the needle drop. You know, a recognizable song used in a new way to evoke a different feeling than it's supposed to. That's one of my favorite things about horror movies. So, you know, luckily we had a little bit more budget than Get Out, and and a little bit more cred. So I was able to get some really special songs for some key moments that, I'm always just trying like iconic. What can we do to make this scene a little bit more iconic? And the music was obviously a huge help for that quality.
It absolutely was. I can confirm, once again. We are going to take some audience questions here. You'll have to raise your hand and I will point at you and someone will bring you a microphone. The only rule I have, guys, about these kinds of things is that you have to actually ask a question. I understand that these are amazing people and you want to stand up and tell them how you feel about them in your heart. But for this part, Q&A, I need an actual question. Cool? Cool. Now you can raise your hands. See what's going on. Let's go right here.
Oh, hi. Thank you. I wanted to find out, over the last few years, a lot of the aspect of women, people of color in the film industry has obviously become more forefront. What are you doing, or is that in your mindset when you're talking about, especially behind the scenes, behind the camera, in terms of staffing, for opening up more opportunities for people who have traditionally been shut out of the film industry?
It's an important thing in every aspect of the filmmaking. In terms of the on-screen representation, there's been for so long in the industry, these business sort of ideas that black people can't open movies overseas, these myths that are brought on by a systemic racism. It's a self-perpetuating prophecy. If you don't give people opportunities, then we just don't have opportunities. We need opportunities to succeed. We also need opportunities to fail, the way white people get. That's a big part of it. So it's like writing the Titanic. You can focus project by project, role by role, and but what was important with this movie is that I got to see a horror movie starring a black family, and that I could make a movie like that could be a dope horror movie, not be about race, be about something else, and hopefully we make some money with it, and once again show what the world has been witnessing for the past few years is that it's a worthy investment artistically and monetarily to see fresh talent, to see stories and perspectives that we haven't been seeing, that we've been deprived of for so many years. So I'm always going to be looking to further the conversation of representation and everything in all my movies.
Also, just echoing something on that was apparent from day one, top down, that this was a set of allyship. And you saw that from the first iteration of the script, that we're gonna be celebrating a female lead, and that even Gabe's character, it translated to what I felt was necessary in my duty day to day, was also to create a comfortable space for Lupita to just excel. And I know I took that every day as like my duty. I came in like, how can I also challenge my castmate to make a really great scene? How can I be a really good juxtaposition for her so that her choices also really shine through in opposition? So it created a space where I felt it wasn't like literally verbally communicated, but I felt just from reading the script, just from watching the space that Jordan, created from just being a listener. He's a man that listens a lot more than he speaks. And when it comes to just being an ally, it is a really great way to just show by example what the work is about.
Lovely. Let's get another question. Right there.
Hi, your ability to make racial commentary and just push the limits has been evident from forever. So one, I'm curious about, was this horror genre always in you? Because we saw it in your comedy back in the day, kind of creeping in there. And is there a such thing to you as ever pushing too far? You seem to be like one of the bravest people in this space. I feel like it's social justice work because you're moving the needle, but is there a such thing as too far, or do you just love pushing the limit?
You know, I think there probably is such a thing as pushing too far. There's missing the mark. I think the biggest crime, I can do as an artist is, put forth something that doesn't work. And sometimes that will be because I've made some wrong choices along the way. I'm a comedy guy. My pedigree in my DNA as an artist is the desire to provoke. It's the, I think if I'm not doing something that might piss people off, I'm probably doing it wrong. And when I think the biggest mistake I can make as a performer is creating something that lands as being a bully somehow, as opposed to lifting up the underdog. And that's something that happens, in comedy. Sometimes you try and get a little mischievous and you step over that line, and that always just teaches me a lesson.
I have about 1 million more questions, unfortunately. I can't ask them all today, and I know you guys have questions too, but you're on the circuit. You'll be talking. We'll hear so much more. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for watching Profile with BuzzFeed News live here at South by Southwest Austin. This lovely audience, look at all these wonderful people. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Jordan Peele, Lupita Nyong'o, and Winston Duke. Thank you, Comcast NBCU House. It's been fantastic. Follow us on Facebook. Don't forget. All right? You're gonna love it. Have a good one. Thank you. See you next time.